How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid, which was only down 3.62% on the day. And I must say, that is not too bad whatsoever considering the market did sell off quite a bit. I'll talk about it further in the video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in a bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $18.88, being down 3.62%. On the low, it tested $18.80, and then on the high, testing $19.66. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 15.886 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 17.59 million shares. So we have below average volume on the day, and you also see we had a pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it's at 49.40. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day. We're also below the 50-day. And you can see that we closed below the 21-day EMA as well. It is at 1889. So since we are trading below all of our major moving averages, Lucid does continue to be in a bear market, especially since it's trading below the 200-day. So what we are seeing as far as strength for Lucid, I'm liking it actually. We had the market that just fell off a cliff today, but we were able to hold support right at 1880. So that is right around where we had that 21-day EMA. So it does look like we're continuing to see some consolidation. So we end up having some strength coming back into the markets for tomorrow. Maybe those CPI numbers end up being good. That's where I want to see Lucid being able to get back to $20, which we know is a psychological area for this play. It ended up seeing a high at $19.66, and as you can see, it continues to have resistance right at the 50-day moving average. We've talked about this. So if we can actually break through resistance at this 50-day, that's where I was saying I want to see us get to $20 and start looking comfortable going into next week. If we decide to have a further pullback inside the play, if 1880 breaks, then of course we want to make sure that 1850 can hold. If 1850 can't hold, that's where we can see Lucid testing right at $18. And of course, I don't see weakness in this play unless it drops below 1750. Now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent short interest information for Lucid. So the off exchange short volume ratio is at 46.36%, and then for the off exchange short volume, it is just over 2.76 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 60,000, updated 3 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 12.17%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 7th, it was at 59.38. And then for the close of the 8th, being at 46.36. So, and then when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 22.53%, we can see that Lucid does have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we see on the inflow, it is at 58.44 million, and then on the outflow, it's at 47.31 million. So we had a strong inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 8.44 million. On the medium, it was 32.79 million. And then on the small, it was 17.21 million. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 29.35. And then on the small, it was 17.96 million. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for June the 9th, we had that inflow, and of course, that is today, of 8.44 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, you could see that we had more selling than we had buying, but it was close. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying then we had selling, and then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had a lot more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 0.95%. So we're definitely getting some consistency there from Lucid, and this is what is good to see. And it also does explain how well the stock was able to do when we had a strong red day inside of the market. Talk about it further in the final thoughts, so let's get into it right now. So for my final thoughts for Lucid, when it comes to the price action, when we take a look at the 21-day EMA, it is at $18.89. We ended up seeing a high of the day at $19.66. And then on top of that, we ended up having support at $18.80. So what does this mean, and what kind of price action have we been seeing? It's a continuation of more consolidation. Yes, we did end up finishing a penny below the 21-day EMA, but I don't see that as a big deal whatsoever, and it does speak volumes in regards to the strength in the stock. Like I said before, there was a tremendous amount of selling pressure, but Lucid was seeing a lot of inflows overall on the day. So what does this mean? So going into tomorrow, if we have the markets picking back up, I'm going to be looking for Lucid to follow along with it. Most preferably, I want to see it get to $20. And we know that is a psychological area for this play, and it does continue to have resistance right around that 50-day moving average. But if we could break above that level, have bulls stepping in, buying up the play, we want to see it not only get to 21, but that target is around $22.50. Will it pull this off tomorrow? I'm personally just not seeing it. But can it go back to the $20 level? Most definitely. But the only issue that we need to take into consideration is CPI. So the way how the market was performing and the way how it sold off, I was thinking, you know what? Maybe they're pricing it in early. But if they are not pricing it in early and we continue to have a sell-off, then of course you want to make sure that Lucid could hold $18. If it breaks through $18, that's where we go down to $7.50. And the moment it starts pulling back under $17.50, that's where it starts looking bearish. And we're going to have to do some more videos to make sure to keep you inside the loop and keep you up to date with that price action. Because we do have the Fed meeting that is coming up next week, and we also do have the quad witching. So there's a lot of volatility, but for the most part, Lucid did have a strong day considering the market conditions. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent short interest information, Lucid does continue to have short squeeze potential. So that is another reason why you want to keep a very close eye on this play, especially since it did hold up very well, knowing that we had a very weak market. So that's why I want to make sure you guys are doing your homework, you're doing your due diligence. And if you are an investor thinking about getting into this play, or maybe you want to add to your positions, like I said in my previous video, I would not be paying at these current levels. I feel that we're going to continue to have a pullback inside of these markets, especially with the volatility that is ahead. And I want to make sure that you're actually maximizing the opportunities to make sure that you can get in at a solid price or add to your position at a solid price. Of course, I can't give you guys financial advice, but I always say before you push that buy button, you should have a strategy. And for all of my traders out there, I already told you what this play looks like to the upside and as well as for the downside. So add that to your game plan and you should be able to find some opportunities. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how the stock performs going into tomorrow. We'll talk soon.